So I think the environment is the one thing that can change this terrible trajectory we are on, in which our biodiversity and cultural diversity is shrinking on a daily basis. The environment is part of our lives. It's not something out there. I used to visit the farm that my mother grew up on. There was little distinction between the farm and the wild. The wild was a place of medicine, of food, of water, and the farm was an organized space. It was with sadness many, many years later that I realized that that connection had gone. My mother asked me to collect an ostrich egg for her and some herbs from the forest. And I told her that it wasn't possible, that there were laws and policies that made that impossible. And she was kind of surprised. She said, "Don't we have independence?" And then I told her about how people thought we should protect the environment. Her response was that those things were always there. We always looked after them, that we used them. The other thing that really strikes me about where my mom grew up is that development came. The platinum mines came and the coal mines came, and the Northern Cape changed. It's a different place today. These places, far-flung across the corners of Africa and around the world, are often places where there's just no accountability, where things happen and things are not seen. The question for us is not whether or not there should be development, but how we develop and who is accountable to who. Would this change the way in which we are going? For me, this is the key factor. Environment and people are one thing. We live in it. Our well-being, our hopes, our values are tied up with it. We need a law and policy that brings these things together again. We need to be aware of the ways in which climate change is changing our reality, how we're losing our water resources, how our lands are drying. And we need to be part of that solution. That's why environment matters to me. And that's why I want to stand as IUCN Councillor. I was thrilled actually when the Southern and Eastern African members asked me to stand as Councillor. I thought this was my opportunity to make sure that the issues of our continent were clearly reflected in IUCN policy. But the more I thought about it, I realized that many of the issues of this continent are the issues of the world. The mines that ravish protected areas are found in Latin America, in the Congo, in the Philippines, in Australia, in Canada. This is one problem that we can face together. And as a councillor, I want to connect your voice as African NGOs, as African states, to the voices of people all over the world. That way we're stronger, and that way we have a chance. That's why I want to be councillor.